Well, today we're going to be continuing our astrological update of the royal family, and today we're going to be focusing on Prince William. Now, I saw a news article recently uh, that apparently Prince Harry has been trying to patch things up with the royal family, including his brother, Prince William. And one of the big holdups for Prince William is he doesn't trust Meghan Markle. So that's apparently the big block that's happening, allegedly, according to this article. So today I was going to look a little bit into that. Could we see a reconciliation between Prince William and Prince Harry this year? Could we see this soon? And that's what we're going to be taking a look at. We're also going to look at just some of the near future events that could be happening in Prince William's life at this moment. So, anyways, if you're new to my channel, make sure you like and subscribe. Um, Check down below if you're interested in a reading. I do Zoom readings, I do Calendly Zoom readings. If you're interested, details are down below. By the way, quick disclaimer: astrology. This is for entertainment purposes only, and all statements about Prince William or anyone in the royal family. These are all my astrological opinion based on the spiritual energies. So let's pull up Prince William's chart. And the first thing that I want to bring up is he's got a similar transit that's happening like in Prince Harry's chart. So let's talk about that for a moment. So Prince William happens to have Rahu transiting in the third house. So this is the same as Prince Harry. And it started that transit May of 2025, so just a few months ago, and it's going to continue that transit. Let me write that down: May of 2025. And then it's going to continue that transit till December of 2026. And the third house is all about siblings, especially younger siblings. Rahu being in the third house is actually really good as far as the attempt to patch things up. Now, why do I say that? Before this transit, and you may remember the Saturn transit is currently in the sign of Pisces, but before Saturn was in the third house of Aquarius between January 2023 and March of 2025. So when Saturn was transiting where Rahu is right now, that was when it was more unlikely that there was going to be a reconciliation because Saturn tends to block things. Saturn tends to delay or stall things. So now that Saturn has moved into the fourth house of Pisces, and then Rahu has went backwards into the third house of Aquarius, this actually makes it more likely that there's going to be some sort of reconciliation. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean that the reconciliation is right away by any means. So I don't want to say that it's going to be happening right away. This transit lasts 18 months. But what I will say with this particular transit is there's going to be a lot of headway or a lot of movement made in that direction during the next 18 months. So between now and December of 2026, in both of their charts, there's a lot of headway being made. Now, if we look at Prince William's chart, if we look at the moon chart, and the moon chart is basically if we make moon first house. So if we made, his first house Gemini over here, which this is the seventh house, if we look at just the ascendant chart, this is the moon chart over here. But one of the things I wanted to make up or talk about was we also look at where's Rahu from the moon, and this is ninth from moon. So ninth from moon, and the moon from the moon sign, it usually represents our family relationships, and Rahu tends to be a malefic influence. So one of the reasons we're getting kind of some indication that one of these things that could be bringing Prince William and Prince Harry together could be some sort of issues or situation with King Charles because the father's involved. Rahu, now it's it tends to be malefic, but it also tends to find inroads, or it tends to try to find some sort of crack in someone's defenses. So the reason why Rahu would be working in Prince Harry and Prince William's favor as far as patching that relationship is usually what Rahu does is it creates a situation where maybe they're forced to patch things up. So with Rahu in ninth from Moon, there could be a lot more news surrounding King Charles there. Maybe King Charles's health, because when Rahu's in one of your family member signs, it typically is not good for health if there's already a negative health situation going on. Now with Prince Harry, Rahu's in the third house, but it's not necessarily, we know, as far as we know, Prince Harry's is okay at the moment. But these kind of things can tend to bring people together. So if there's this common issue that they're working through, there could be being brought together. The other thing I want to bring up is he's still in this Rahu period, Saturn Rahu. Let's talk about the Vimshatari Dasha over here for a moment. So Saturn Rahu, he started that. He's been in this one for a while, October 2023. These Rahu periods tend to be very long time, all the way till August of 2026. Okay, August of 2026. So we still got a while. We still got another year of Prince William being in this Rahu period. But I've said in other videos, this definitely, in my opinion, with Rahu being in the seventh house is a big public visibility or career house. So there can be a tendency to take on more public responsibilities. Okay, because Rahu's with Sun and it's with Moon as well. So there's this idea of there could be situations going on where he's having to step up, take more responsibilities. We did talk about before, and some of my subscribers told me about um, there's some sort of like there could be a way where King Charles doesn't really fully abdicate necessarily or step down, but there could be something where um, Prince William is kind of just given more authority, and maybe you can comment down below. But something like that could happen this year because of this Rahu period and this kind of quick ascension. And we're going to talk about the Chara Dasha, but there's some sort of emergency that I feel is coming this year. So when we're talking about from August 2025 to August 2026, there's some sort of really big transformation that's taking place. And it might be under the guise of an emergency, could be a family emergency, could be any type of emergency. Let's talk about that right now. So he's in this phase where there could be some sort of rise of at least more responsibility. Okay. And it could be as a result because we see Rahu's in ninth from Moon as a result of what's happening with his father. Let's talk about Gemini Cancer, the Chara Dasha that he's going to be in. The Chara Dasha using Gemini astrology. He's going to be in Gemini Cancer. And it's interesting, as I make this video, he actually enters this Gemini Cancer period August 21st. And this is when this video is actually going to be released. So August 21st, 2025, all the way till July of 2026, he's going to be in this Gemini Cancer. And you guys have probably heard me say before, I'm tooting the horn again. A lot of people like Chara Dasha because they feel that Chara Dasha is a little bit more predictive on when actually like events start happening. So if we look at the previous period from September 2024 to August 2025, he was in a Leo period. The Leo period, very much focused on him, but it's the ninth house. So like study, Dharma kind of things. But let's talk about this Cancer period because it's a big difference. So the Cancer period that he's going to be in. So, and keep in mind, it's Gemini Cancer. So we got to keep in mind this idea of this rise, the power that could be taking place, or this rise of responsibilities, increased responsibilities. But this Cancer period is definitely kind of like a giant red button. And Eighth house represents transformation, sudden changes. And it's interesting that this is happening tomorrow. So August 21st. And Jaimini astrology, Charadasha tends to be more, um, you tend to notice the changes faster than you do with the Vimshatari Dasha. So it's even got me kind of going, okay, there might be some big changes in the, I'm talking about the near future, like next 1 month, 2 months with Prince William. There's some sort of big change that's happening. Eighth house can be malefic. It can be a change that's not necessarily good. It's not under good circumstances. If we look at where it is from the moon over here, it's the second house. So again, it could be some sort of like family emergency with the second house, family emergency. We already see Rahu's going to be ninth from moon. So there could be something that's happening in the near future that there's this kind of like an eighth house, by the way, represents like shocking, kind of fearful changes. For example, if Prince William had to suddenly take on like a lot more responsibilities, and let's say he wasn't even expecting it. Let's say it just happens literally, he just gets a phone call or they have a meeting like, okay, well, you're going to be doing a lot of all of a sudden, we've been kind of preparing you, but now it's just being dropped on you and it's actually happening. So there's some really big emergency or changes. That being said, I will tell you the other interpretation of this as well. So there could be family emergency because the second from moon is being activated with this period. But let's talk about the Saturn. Saturn is in the fourth house, and then Saturn's in 10th from moon. Again, there's this indication when Saturn is in 10th from moon over here that there's some sort of forced responsibility. It feels obligated. It like an obligation. It doesn't feel like yay. It feels like this is being thrown or thrust upon you. That's what Saturn does. When Saturn's going through your 10th, it can kind of create a forced circumstance where you're forced to take some sort of leadership role. It doesn't feel good. Uh, but the other emergency I wanted to tell you about, and it's interesting because as a side note, we know there's a lot of things going on in Europe. We know that there's all these meetings going on with the war that's going on in Eastern Europe. We know that there's a lot of things that are kind of in limbo right now with that. They're trying to make a peace deal, but then there's been a lot of escalations happening. And I'm bringing this in the Prince William's reading because, if there's a situation where something shifts in the wartime mode, the royal family is going to be in the middle of it. The royal family is going to be, the um, essentially they're there to raise morale. They're there to provide leadership. They're there to provide moral leadership. If there is a war, if there is some sort of situation like that. So Prince William would obviously be, pressed into this. And that's what Saturn in the 10th house. So that could be the other emergency. And why do I bring that up? Is because we got Saturn in 10th from moon, but it's in the fourth house, which is homeland. There's some sort of pressure on the homeland. Okay, there could be some sort of issues happening in the homeland where it could be some very serious situations that are happening. So it could be bringing some sort of circumstance of an emergency. And we correlate that with the Charadasha. So my prediction with Prince William is near future, we're going to see some dramatic changes. And I feel like these changes are going to be happening very shortly here. Within 1 to 2 months, there's a big transformation that's happening. And it could be centering in the royal family, but it also could be related to an emergency that's happening. When I looked at Prince Harry's chart, I didn't really see as much this situation, but then, Prince Harry, if that situation, if there is something where Prince William has to take more responsibility, well, this could force Prince William and Prince Harry to kind of maybe mend fences, at least just, just to keep the peace or set a good role model for the country. So that's what I have for you with Prince William. I feel like there's some really big changes here on the horizon. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if there's any other royal family videos you'd like me to do. I also do other videos as well, so I'll probably be doing some of the politics and the world events that are happening as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.